Hi guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me video. These are all things that came in over the weekend. I am literally fresh off of a plane. My flight left this morning pre 6 a.m. from the East Coast. I was home visiting family and friends, but I was up and out of bed getting ready to go to the airport at about 3 a.m. East Coast time this morning, which is the equivalent of midnight West Coast time, so I am tired. I am existing solely on caffeine, and I am racing the clock to get these things all packed, shipped, and to the post office before closing. I don't want anything to kind of go out late. But guys, there were a lot of great things that sold this weekend, a lot of really good sales, like high dollar sales, a lot of very fast sales. So I'm really excited to share those with you, kind of let you know what sold, how long it took to sell. There were also some things that kind of hung around. So some interesting things to talk about on both, sides of the coin there. But first and foremost, if you are new here, welcome to the party. I am Julia, that is who I am. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet. If that sounds like anything that you are interested in, be sure to subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, per the aforementioned race against time, we've got a lot to get through. I want to get this all done, and I want to get these things to the buyers ASAP. So let's get into the shipments. So the first sale that came through here, and I knew that this was going to be a quick sale. This is a Free People Oasis dress. Now I found this at the bins for $1, which was super exciting. And this is one of those dresses, and I've run across a couple different things like this from Free People. And this is something that was like not necessarily a super expensive piece from Free People. Sometimes you have those dresses that go, $240, $280, $300 plus dollars. This is one of their kind of standard in line. They made it in a ton of colors type dresses. I think it retailed for like $118 or $128. It's called the Oasis dress, and it's all gauze, it's double layer, it's got this smocked top and kind of puff sleeves. It's really gorgeous, But this is one of those pieces from Free People that sells, that is really highly sought after, especially if you have a color that is no longer being made. Like this color in particular, and I can't remember the exact name of it. I will put it down below because I have it in the listing. This one was last year's, like part of last year's line. And all the sold comps were between like $50 and $100. So, I love finding pieces like that. I mean, that's just kind of like your holy grail with Free People. Because a lot of Free People can be pretty saturated right now, especially a lot of the more basic pieces. There is a notable exception to that, which we will talk about actually later in this video. But this is just one of those kind of magic pieces that has it all, right? It's in demand. This was in great condition when I found it. And I don't think it's particularly rare, right? Like, gently get that into the box. This isn't one of those pieces that there weren't many made. I think it's just a very, universally flattering silhouette that people seek out. So this one I got for $1 at the bins, which, hello. I had this listed for $98, take a chance. Lots of sold comps in that $100 range. I had it listed for under a week. Somebody liked it, my sidekick sent an offer for $88, which was accepted. Love it. Dollar cost from the bins, that brought my profit to $67.38. Guys, make a note of this specific model and keep your eyes out for it. I love knowing these kind of pieces so I can be sure that I've got eyes out for it. Next up, we've got this great sweater from Alice and Olivia. Now, I've had this one for a little bit of time, but Alice and Olivia is one of those brands that is like an always buy situation. It's very expensive. This is the tag here if you are unfamiliar. This was probably a good $300, $400 sweater when it was new. And it's kind of this space dye with this extra long cascade front that actually buttons down at the bottom. I have no idea how I'm gonna fold this, so let me speed this up a little bit. Lots of weird angles on this sweater, but Alice and Olivia is one of those things. Now, I've had things from Alice and Olivia sell within a day. I've had many things from Alice and Olivia sell within a day. I've also had things that have kind of sat. This sweater in particular is one of them. I think I had this almost 5 months. However, because it is Alice and Olivia, even if it takes a little bit longer to sell, I still say it's pretty safe to pay up a little bit on it, because when it does sell, and it will sell for a good amount. Like, this is not something, I don't think any piece I've sold from Alice and Olivia has gone like under $30. I think that's really the lowest that I've ever sold something. So, you know, again, a safe bet for you. So yeah, this was a great find. It did sit for a while. I had this guy for 5 months. And I paid $1 for it at the bins. Again, I was very comfortable picking this guy up. I would have been comfortable picking this up at $10, just because it's an Alice and Olivia sweater. Even if it sits for 6 months, it's still gonna sell for that great dollar amount. I had this listed for $49, and somebody liked it. My sidekick sent an offer for $44, which was accepted. Dollar cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $32.18. And definitely, again, another brand to really be on the lookout for. It's just a great brand, and it is something that people really seek out by name. Next up, now this was kind of a cool find. I've had this one for a while, and I picked it up. I had no idea what this brand was, and I picked it up because it was really like well made. This fleece is really nice. It's short sleeve. It just looked and felt high end, if you know what I mean. So I take it home, and there weren't many sold comps on it, but I just went with my gut on this. So I take it home, and the brand is called AlphatTor. And it sounded so familiar to me, but I wasn't finding anything. And it's because I was looking in clothing. Now, it is technically a clothing brand. This is Red Bull's clothing brand. So hence the Torrid, right? Taurus bull. But how I knew it, how I had heard it before, but it is also the name of the Ferrari F1 team, also owned by Red Bull. In fact, Red Bull, as it turns out, named the Ferrari, the Scuderia Ferrari team after this clothing brand. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I was listening to my gut, but, you know, I didn't know there weren't a lot of sold comps, so I don't think it's a super popular brand, but I would imagine that, you know, the people that are into it are into it, so, you know, I wasn't mad about it. But anyway, so I had this for almost 6 months. And I paid $1 for it at the bins. So, you know, again, I'm always down to take a risk, especially if it means that I can learn a new brand and by that teach you guys a new brand. So I had this listed for $45, and I got an offer for $35, which I did accept. I was happy to move this on. Again, I had this for, you know, quite a bit of time, and I'm ready to move it on. But definitely a brand to keep your eyes out for. I'm very interested, because I hadn't seen many comps, because there just wasn't much out there on the resale market. Have any of you ever found an AlphatTor piece? Let me know down below, because I'm curious. I'm very curious. Again, really, really high quality construction, so really like that. So I had this for $45, accepted the offer for $35. I paid $1 for it at the bins. I had it for almost 6 months, and that brought my profit to $27 even. Next up are these. Okay, so this is 5.11 tactical. I don't know if it's 5.11 or 5.11. Let me know down below. I'm not quite sure. This is something that I know is a brand that resells well. I knew it wasn't something that was gonna get me like $80 for a pair of pants, but I know that it is a brand that is pretty sought after. It is not something I see a lot here. I'm pretty sure, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like, literally the name of the company is 5.11 or 5.11 Tactical. So this is, I believe for the most part, you know, clothing that is used for serious hiking, hunting, you know. So the good thing about this is that these things are made to last, right? Like if this is something that is made for hunting, it is made for legit abuse. You know, especially if you're somebody, you know, I used to live in the mountains of Utah, and I knew a lot of people that would go elk hunting. That is not for the faint of heart. You know, these people are climbing mountains, going down mountains, climbing mountains, and if they get one, and you know, obviously trigger warning, we're talking about hunting here. I don't hunt, but I have a lot of friends who do, and they would literally like have to drag an elk out of the woods by themselves. You know, they're not going to a place necessarily where you can get a vehicle to. You know, so a lot of these people are pulling this out of the woods themselves. And I don't know if you've ever been face to face with an elk or like within eye distance of an elk. I hope you're never face to face with an elk. They're massive. They're like 1,000 pounds. Anyway, so I picked these up. You know, again, it's not something that I see all that often in California, which makes sense. I don't think that there's too much hunting being done in the Los Angeles area. But I did grab it. And this was like the first pair I had ever gotten from these. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about how these are like really good sellers. In fact, one of the best sellers that they have for men. So I grabbed it. I got them for $1 at the bins. And I had them listed for $30. Again, that was kind of right in line with what I saw like sold comps, maybe a little bit lower, because these did have a little bit of wear to them. Plenty of wear left in them, but you know, they don't look brand new. So after 2.5 months, I got an offer for $20, which I gladly accepted, and that brought my profit to $15 even. Guys, do feel free to correct me on all of the things I'm sure I just said wrong about this brand. So great, great sale there. Next up here, this is a cute little Torrid top that I got. I love this like black and red roses. I really thought that this was something that was gonna sell for Valentine's Day. And you know, I gotta say, and let me know if you're experiencing the same thing. Torrid used to sell so quick for me, and it has really slowed down in sell-through. Now, maybe it's because maybe I don't have the buyer base, or my buyer base that was buying Torrid from me has kind of moved on to somebody else to buy from. But you know, something like this just last year would have sold in like 2 days. And this took 5 or 6 months. You know, and it's not like I had it priced super high, you know, it's just, Torrid's just not moving as much for me. But either way, I thought this was super cute, a nice little dressy top. I didn't pay a ton for it, right? Like I would have been mad because I used to source this pretty regularly from the regular thrift store, you know, at $5, $6 a pop. And you know, I don't mind paying $5, $6 a pop if it's something that I'm going to be able to, you know, kind of flip for a decent profit quick. But if I, you know, had paid $6 for this and, you know, it wasn't selling for another like 6 months or so, you know, for a pretty low price, you know, I don't know. I think I'm going to slow down on sourcing some Torrid pieces unless I know that they're like in demand styles or super, super timely in terms of like season or holiday. So I had this for, again, 5 to 6 months, and I had it listed for $25, and I received an offer for $16. At this point, you know, 5 or 6 months, I was ready to move it on. So I did accept that. $1 cost from the bins, again, which kind of makes this okay. That brought my profit to $9.34. Guys, let me know what you're seeing with your Torrid pieces. I'm really kind of interested. I'm interested to see if everybody else is having the same experience or if some people are really like popping off on Torrid. Let me know. Let us all know. Next up, this is a cool little piece from Alo Yoga. Now, Alo Yoga is one of my favorite brands to find. This was just kind of a specific piece. So this didn't move as fast as, say, like their leggings would or one of their sweatshirts. You know, Alo is kind of known for having slightly more like fashion-leaning pieces. They're kind of in the same price range as a Lululemon, if you're not familiar with Alo. They're definitely like right there in that same wheelhouse price-wise, but where with Lululemon you have, you know, really, truly like purpose-built pieces with, you know, few exceptions. Alo has as many like fashion-focused pieces as they do like fitness-focused pieces. You know, I don't know if you've ever been in an Alo store, but to me, like your basic like workout wear, your basic leggings and tank tops and whatever are like the minority in the store. They really tend to, like the last one I went into, there was a ton of like pleather pieces. And I mean, all fine and good, we love pleather, but just the thought of pleather in a workout arena, I mean, if it doesn't scare you, it should. We'll put it that way. We won't get into like the reasons as to why that should scare you, but ew. So this was a little bit more of the fashion forward piece, but I'm always gonna be glad to get it. Alo is something that like people will search for by specific model. You know, even if it's a fashion forward piece. It is definitely a bolo brand for sure. So I had this guy for about 3 months. And I had this listed for $38, which was kind of similar, you know, right around the sold comp level that I was seeing for this particular shirt. Again, had it for 3 months, got an offer for $30, which I did accept. In 3 months, I was ready to move it on. I had paid $1 for this at the bins, and that brought my profit to $23.31. Great sale, and such a cute little top. That is such a cute top. Next up, now this was one that I knew was gonna sell lightning quick. So this is a little knit top from Zara. It's oversized. This is a size small or extra small? Size small. But you can kind of see how wide it is, right? So this is a knit crop, collared, you know, button down the front. I did wash and air dry this, so it's a little stiff. Guys, if any of you ever buy something from me, chances are it will have been air dried and it will be a little bit stiff. So if that's not your cup of tea, and you do order something from me and it comes to you stiff, just throw it in the dryer a little bit with dryer balls and it will soften it up. But anyway, this style just kind of checked all the boxes of things that I knew were gonna go pretty quick. So, you know, this is something that I had listed under Eclectic Grandpa, which was a big trend last year, which is very much this vein, kind of oversized collared shirts. Looks like something that you picked, you know, out of your grandpa's closet, cut off the bottom and turned it into fashion. So it is still running pretty strong right now, and it's gonna really be hitting probably mainstream. Obviously, once it gets to Zara, it's gonna be a little bit more mainstream. So for sure be keeping your eyes out for pieces like this, because they do sell quick. Like anything I've ever had that has this kind of boxy, cropped or slightly cropped silhouette has moved very, very quick for me. So this one I had for 2 weeks. This was only listed for 2 weeks, and I had a lot of interest in it. But ultimately, I had it listed for $34, and I had gone back and forth with the buyer, you know, about price, and I accepted her offer of $24, which, you know, I gladly accepted. Dollar cost at the bins, this brought my profit to $19.09. This is the kind of thing that is an easy buy for me. You know, it's not necessarily, especially something from Zara, it's not gonna light the world on fire price-wise, but if you're sourcing at a reasonable price, like easy pickup. And it looks good on a lot of different bodies, so I'm always looking for those kind of pieces. Next up, now this is something that I got. I've had this for a little while, but I knew it would go. This has a very like log and look feel. It's a nice like rich red linen, almost like a chore jacket. If you're familiar with what a chore jacket is, see those big boxy like pockets up front, chunky wood buttons. This is from a company called Russ Barons, and I'm assuming this is no longer in business, but it is this beautiful linen. Like the linen it's made out of is super high quality. It's kind of got that worn feel to it. I always say there's like this entire kind of this log and look feel to me. The first thing that always comes to my mind is art teacher. Like my elementary school art teacher, who was the best, by the way. I won't say her name, I won't call her out, but she was just the coolest lady. And that whole log and look is very much like in that vein. So for me, log and look is always fabulous art teacher. And this just feels like something that she would have worn. So I picked it up, and you know, anytime I see the label says Russ Barons Malibu, so anything that's gonna have a business or a headquarters or a store, like an actual storefront in Malibu, it isn't gonna be cheap. Malibu is a very expensive place to live, very expensive place to hang out. So I don't really know what the retail price on this was, but I can only imagine it was pretty expensive because the quality is really, really nice. And that's something that's gonna just wear well and continue to get better with age. So I had this for about 3 months, just under, and I had it listed for $34 and it was a full price sale. I got it for $1 at the bins, and that brought my profit to $27.76. So love that. I hope she loves it. I hope she embodies the spirit of my fabulous elementary school art teacher. Next up, this was a lightning fast sale, another lightning fast sale. This is a Free People dress. Now I have found this, it's a linen cotton blend. It's like midi to maxi length. and it's got this kind of asymmetrical kind of ruffle hem to it. But the tag had been removed, and when I picked it up, I found the contents tag. And I ran the RN number, and if you don't know how to run the RN number, I will put in the comments below, I'll link the website that you can input an RN number on. An RN number is literally, you'll find it on the contents tag on pretty much every garment made, and it'll start with RN, so it'll be easy to find. But you can basically put that into the RN finder, and it'll tell you who made it. Now, sometimes it'll be like an import company, and usually then you're dealing with like a boutique brand, but this one came up Urban Outfitters. Urban Outfitters owns Anthropologie, Free People, and Beholden, and a bunch of different brands. Also like all the sub-brands, but this one just had that kind of Free People feel. And when I did a haul with this, and somebody kind of chimed in the comments and was like, that looks like a Free People beach dress, which is like a sub-brand of Free People. And that immediately made sense. And sure enough, when I did a Google image search, it was Free People Beach. It was called the Lena dress, in case any of you guys have found this. But I listed this, and it was a crazy quick sale. It went within one day. I had this listed for $45. There weren't many out there to be spoken of. So, you know, that usually bodes well for a quick sale. Like, there were a couple on the sold side, not many on the for sale side. So anyway, I listed it for $45, and within a day I got an offer for $35, which I gladly accepted. I got this at the bins for $1, and that brought my profit to $30.82. Next up, now this is a brand that I found a couple pieces on, and I gotta say, like, I'm really impressed with the quality, and this is Eloquii. This, I mean, it's a plus size brand, or they cater to kind of plus sizes, which is great. You know, this is a backless dress. How cute is that? With like a little bow ties there, kind of empire waist, super flattering silhouette, V-neck, you know, peasant sleeves in fabulous condition. This was kind of a no-brainer, and I probably would have bought this no matter what the brand was, but Eloquii's pretty expensive. Like, this was probably $100 or so new, maybe a little bit more, and it's like a perfect little black dress. Cute for like a wedding or a date or brunch with the girls, whatever. And again, in fabulous condition. Now, I had this for about 3 months, and that makes sense because it's been winter, and this is definitely like not a winter dress with that open back situation. And I had it listed for $38. I wasn't quite sure where this was gonna land because sold comps were kind of all over the place. So I had it listed for $38, had it for just about 3 months, and got an offer for $28, and I accepted it. Again, it's a pretty pricey brand to start with. So a lot of this sold comps in the brand, I couldn't find this specific dress, were kind of in that $20 to $40 range. So $28, super happy with that. Dollar cost at the bins, that brought my profit to $21.40. Next up, now this, we were talking about basics from Free People, and this is the notable exception to the rule. If I find a mainline, meaning metal tag with a little tiny strip tag, basic piece, chances are I'm gonna leave it behind. But We the Free pieces, and this is the tag, one of the tags, there's a couple different We the Free tags. Any kind of basic piece from We the Free sells so well. This will sell frequently, this particular line will sell for a higher cost than something significantly more ornate from the main line, almost always. You know, I've had really distressed t-shirts that sell for like $30 and up. It's pretty crazy. So this was just like a very oversized t-shirt with these kind of huge exaggerated side slits that kind of come up to like midriff height. So I knew that this was gonna go quick. This is exactly like in the vein of what I see people looking for, We the Free pieces are looking for. So again, you know, use your discretion. If you see if you're not, you know, able to source from a bins location, and you're kind of at the mercy of a regular thrift store, I would feel pretty comfortable telling people to pay up a little bit for We the Free basics. And it's gonna feel counterintuitive because it's a t-shirt, right? But I'm telling you, they sell really well. Like even super thin, lightweight cotton t-shirts will sell for a decent price. This I had priced for $34. I had it listed for 1 month. And somebody had liked it, and my sidekick sent an offer for $30, which was accepted. So this like pretty basic white t-shirt, yes, it has a lot of interest to it, but it is still, just a white t-shirt. It sold for $30. Dollar cost of the bins that brought my profit to $20.98. This is a great sale. So guys, keep your eyes out for those weaver-free pieces. I will say though, if you are dealing in those super lightweight tees or super lightweight like sweatshirts, just be on the lookout for tears, especially with that super lightweight jersey. A lot of times around seams, it'll start to pull apart. So you just, you don't want to be paying $6 for something that has like a flaw that you have to disclose. Next up, this was such a beautiful find. So this is a little like roll neck dress from a designer called Lena Tomei. Now Lena Tomei is, I don't think really a popular designer, but this is Italian linen, made in Italy. And it's this beautiful like sage green color, kind of like a sheath style with these like embroidered dots on it. It's got pockets, and then it's got these like knit panels here on the back. They kind of go like along the flanks, and that just gives you movement in something that's a little bit slimmer cut. That's linen. So again, I don't know who Lena Tomei is. I don't know if she is a big name designer or not, but it is Italian linen, and people will seek out Italian linen just by putting that, like Italian linen dress, in the search bar. So make sure that if you do pick it up, and I do always recommend picking this up, it's pretty much gonna be a $20 and up sale every time. If you do pick up something that is Italian linen, in your keywords, like in your actual listing, in your title, and in your tags, make sure you have Italian linen because people search for it. So this was a beautiful dress. I'd had it for about 3 months. Again, not super surprising. It's been winter, and this is very much a summer dress. And I had this listed for $34 and got an offer for $25, which I accepted. Dollar cost of the bins that brought my profit to $19 even on this. And I'm super happy to move this on. It's just so beautiful. We all know this. I love linen. It's kind of my thing. Next up here, now this is such a good, reliable seller. This is a J. Jill cardigan. It's a size extra large. With J. Jill, I love to find extra large. I love to find plus sizes in J. Jill. And this is just a perfect, like, everybody needs one in their closet, kind of closet staple. This is just a gray, gently ribbed, long line cardigan, kind of with a grandpa cardigan silhouette. And I'm gonna make a kind of a comparison against the next thing that we're gonna look at. But just take note of like how this is like a perfect basic. It's nice and warm and chunky. You could throw it on over anything. The thing about J. Jill is that it is a reliable seller. In general, it is not an expensive seller. And that is something that doesn't work for everybody's model, and that's cool. But if you are somebody who likes to focus on things that sell quick, or things that sell very reliably, this is a perfect thing. I know that this is not necessarily going to be something that I'm going to be making $50 on, but I know that it is something that will sell within a couple months pretty reliably. And it's a great thing to sell. Like J. Jill is very expensive retail. This was probably north of $100 retail. And it just, it sells kind of for an average price. So for this one, I had this for about 2 months, and I had it listed for about $30. Again, that's about what you can expect, somewhere between $20 and $30 on a J. Jill cardigan like this. Got an offer for $20, which I did accept. I was kind of ready to move it on. Spring's starting to come. I want to move on some of my sweaters if they hadn't moved all through the winter yet. But with the dollar cost from the bins, this brought my profit to $15 even. Again, a reliable seller, not necessarily gonna make you rich, but it will move fast, and if you're sourcing at the right price, this is always a great thing to find. Next up, now in contrast to that, this is something that used to sell super well for me, and it has slowed down quite a bit, and that's Astor the label. Astor is a brand that you find, I believe, on Revolve. I think they sell at Nordstrom. And in stark contrast to a gray, kind of chunky, oversized cardigan, this is like a high-low chiffon printed shirt. Think about this as one-time use, think about that as 1,000-time use. You know, this is, they're gonna sell around the same price, but this is, in general, gonna take longer to sell because it's gonna require somebody who's looking for this specific style. And that's gonna be a more limited pool than somebody looking for like a great classic long line gray cardigan. So when you are sourcing, if you have limited funds or if you have limited space, you know, try to take into consideration those things, you know, because chances are, you know, no matter where you're sourcing, you're gonna have some of that nuance to your business. You know, you're either just not gonna have a ton of storage space, you're not gonna have a ton of money to invest. So when you're faced with a choice like this, I would take that J. Jill cardigan all day long. This could easily have taken 2 years to sell. Easily. It's a very specific style. You know, it's a brand that doesn't sell for too terribly much. But yeah, so that's, you know, again, just as you are sourcing, things to think about, things always to keep in the back of your mind, you know, as you are making your decisions at the register. So this guy I had for about 4 or 5 months. I had it listed for $28, and my sidekick sent an offer for $25, which was accepted. And I will say, I feel like that's kind of lucky for Astor the brand right now. I haven't sold much for over $20 from them, so just, again, keep that in mind. $1 cost from the bins, that brought me to $16.98 profit. Next up here, I have another one of those great kind of cropped, boxy pieces. The last, both also from Zara. The last one was a cotton knit. This is a linen. Hello, sell me on that harder. This is just a crisp white, slightly cropped shirt, size small. It's got like a little bit of like peasant sleeves there, but it still has that kind of eclectic grandpa menswear inspired style. And again, I will reiterate, if you buy anything from me, chances are it will come to you a little bit crispy from air drying. Perfect example. But this is such a no-brainer for me to pick up. You know, I know that it's gonna sell quick. I know that it's something that's in demand, and I know that it's something like, even though it fits into a trend right now, linen button-down shirts are just always gonna be in style. Always. There's always gonna be somebody hunting for linen shirts. And guys, just an aside, it's been winter here. Obviously not the same winter that you are all experiencing in the Northeast and in the Midwest, but can we all just say how excited we are to get to linen season? I cannot wait. I cannot wait. This is just my favorite fabric to be in, other than silk. So this guy I had for just under a month. I want to say it was about 3 weeks. And I had it listed for $26. And somebody liked it, and my sidekick sent them an offer for $23, which was accepted. Again, quick sale. Not a huge sale, but a quick sale, and to me that's super valuable. That is bread and butter territory, right? So with $1 cost from the bins, that brought my profit to $15.83. And again, just a great basic that came in and moved out quickly, and it's a nice quality piece. So really right where I want my bread and butter to be. Next up, now this was kind of an interesting one. This was a little bit of a test. This is a little like nude turtleneck from Michael Stars. Michael Stars is super expensive. I want to say that this was probably $100 new. This has like sweater knit sleeves and then like a lightweight slub cotton body with kind of a mock turtleneck. It doesn't fold over, but it does go up the neck. I wasn't quite sure what this was going to get. I hadn't picked up Michael Stars in a while. For the most part, the things that I had found from him were a little, you know, kind of overtly dated. So this was really one of the first pieces I found that was kind of timeless and classic, and really, you know, it's that nice like neutral, it fits with the clean girl aesthetic, whatever. So this was, you know, just a good test for me. And I had this just under 2 months, which is pretty quick. You know, it's still a pretty quick sale. You know, we all have stuff that's been sitting in our closet for 6 months, 8 months, a year. So just under 2 months for something like this, for a test, I'm pretty happy with. And I had it listed for $28. Again, Michael Stars is expensive. Really good quality basics though. If that's something that you are, you know, looking for, definitely put Michael Stars like on your list. So I got an offer for $22 on this, which I gladly accepted. So, you know, take that to the bank with you. I think that's about what other sold comps in this kind of vein we're doing. So, you know, again, don't go paying $7 for it. It's not going to be worth your investment, but if you're able to source for $1 or $2, it's going to be a pretty quick mover, it sounds like, for a pretty decent price. So $1 cost from the bins, that brought my profit to $16.60. And again, no matter what, we have learned something. And finally, I would assume that you've all been staring at this the entire video, because look at this beauty. Isn't this stunning? This is a vintage piece that I found at the bins. And when I say that this thing is in perfect condition, I mean, obviously it's got age to it, but it is in perfect condition. No snags on the lace. The hook and eye is in place. The zipper works perfectly. All the pleating is nice. Again, no holes in the lace. That's the big thing. It always amazes me when I find these pieces in the bins, but I will never get tired of finding them, and I will always pick them up when I buy them. This is kind of roughly a size 8, and it's got like 6 inches of like hem allowance there in case somebody is, you know, a tall drink of water and needs to let it out. I believe this might have been handmade. Yeah, there's no tag on this. I'm pretty sure that this is a handmade piece. But it is in this gorgeous Barbie pink, and it's a Barbie pink lace over like a nude satin base. And it's so gorgeous. I feel like I found this on the same day as I found another vintage piece that I was even more excited than this one. So like in my mind, I feel like I did not give this one the love that it deserved. But I'm very happy that it is, you know, on its way out to a new home. I just like, nothing makes me happier than finding vintage pieces and getting them into a new home. Like it warms my heart. And again, I'm still trying to figure out how to ask people to send me pictures of them wearing it without sounding like a complete creep. Lots of rain going on, so I'm gonna give this an additional little moisture barrier with a poly bag. You know, especially something like this, which is completely irreplaceable. Like you know, as they say in the vintage business, find another. That's nice and safe. I'll put this in a box so it is additionally protected. I'm just very excited for this sale. So I got this at the bins for $1. I will never stop nerding out about that. So just thank you for bearing with me as I do that every single time. But I had this for 2 or 3 months, and anytime I have a vintage piece, I know that that's always going to take a little bit longer to sell. It's, you know, sizing's got to be right. Vintage pieces tend to be a little bit smaller overall, and it's a very specific style. But I had this listed for $67, and it was a full price sale. So with the dollar cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $48.42, and I am obviously very excited for this to go on to a new home. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. I am running very tight on time. I think I've got about a half an hour before the post office closes, so I gotta wrap this up real quick. But guys, thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I'm hoping I can get this to the post office and get back and like go straight into nap time, because I am real tired right now. But if you had fun, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That really helps me out with YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. I'll have my accounts right here. But without further ado, guys, have the most incredible week. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.